On May 22, 1455, England witnessed the beginning of one of the most turbulent periods in its history, when the Battle of Blore Heat took place. This battle was the prelude to the War of the Roses, the struggle between the houses of York and Lancaster for the English throne. Richard, Duke of York, led the forces opposing King Henry VI of the House of Lancaster. Blore Heat was a pivotal moment, revealing the deep political and social tensions in the country. Before the battle, the atmosphere in York's camp was charged with excitement and anticipation. The soldiers gathered, with Richard, Duke of York, standing at the front of the ranks, ready to face the king. The faces reflected determination, as everyone knew that this battle would determine the fate of the country. On the other side, King Henry VI's forces were gathering under the king's banner. The atmosphere was one of confidence, as the king believed that he was supported by his nobles and leaders. However, there was an underlying concern among the soldiers about their fate in the face of York's trained army. As the sun rose, the battle began. The cries of war were raised, and the two armies rushed towards each other. The ground trembled beneath the soldiers' feet as swords crossed in fierce fighting. The Battle of Blore Heat was more than just a military conflict, as it embodied the deep divisions between the two families. The battle continued fiercely, with blood flowing on the ground. Each side sought to dominate, with exceptional bravery evident in the ranks of the soldiers. This battle was considered the beginning of a new era of conflict, as the signs indicated that the conflict would not end easily. Richard, Duke of York, made good use of his military experience. He used the surrounding terrain to his advantage and led his forces with skill. His tactics proved effective, allowing his army to advance in some parts of the battlefield. Amidst the chaos, the battle witnessed heroic moments. Soldiers on both sides fought with unparalleled bravery, willing to sacrifice their lives for the honor of their families. These moments were a reminder of how important this conflict was to each side. As time passed, the tide began to turn in York's favor. His forces were able to exploit the chaos within the Lancastrian ranks as pressure began to build on them. This was a turning point, as the balance of power began to shift towards York. As the pressure mounted, the Lancastrian army began to retreat. The atmosphere was one of frustration and anxiety as the soldiers tried to flee the battlefield. This moment signaled the beginning of the end for King Henry VI. As the battle ended, celebrations erupted in York's camp. Shouts of joy rose as the soldiers celebrated their first victory. This was a historic moment, as it marked the start of the War of the Roses, which would continue for many years. The Battle of Blore Heat had a profound impact on the course of the War of the Roses. York's victory demonstrated that the conflict was no longer just a family feud, but an ongoing struggle for power. This victory was a huge boost for the Duke of York and his family.